Professional ethics really back up value-based decision-making, and it's really what those values are of integrity, honest, trust. And this isn't like the code of conduct of the Knights of the Round Table. It really is about doing businesses on a basis of trust, but also understanding there's a degree of responsibility, that you are personally responsible for your own actions and for doing the right thing. And there's a distinct difference between levels of competency and levels of professionalism, because as being professional, you should be really aware of what the right thing is in that right situation. And that involves keeping up to date with the latest legal changes, particularly in marketing, data legislation. It's important that being ignorant is no longer an excuse in this great age of technology.
I think there's more case for professional ethics than ever before. I think as a society we've seen huge disasters around professional ethics, whether it's in football or in governments or in motor manufacturers, etc. And what professional bodies I think bring to the party is a focus on those ethics. Professional bodies like mine, British Institute of Facilities Management, we have a disciplinary code, and people will be thrown out if they don't meet our standards. So it's not a case of sort of muddling through. Action sort of will be taken with those companies, definitely.
It's a good question. I think we live in a world where ethical behaviour is getting ever more important. You've just got to see what's happened in the UK, which we've been involved in, the slavery bill recently, the modern slavery bill. I think the young generation, particularly who we have a lot to deal with at CIPS, are ever more interested in ethical behaviour. They feel there's rights and wrongs far more perhaps than our generation. So has it got a role? Absolutely. I think ethics itself, from what we see, and our code of ethics is very heavily used now around the world, and we're calling for the profession to be licensed, as in standards and ethics in what you do as a purchasing professional. It's got huge relevance. I think people's resilience to risk is dropping. People are less prepared to put up with risk. They want behaviour that stops that. And therefore, if you're going to behave that way, there's got to be a law of consequence. And the law of consequence is, in our world, is you have a license that can be taken away if you don't behave ethically and in a proper manner. So I think the world we live in, ever more, is going to require ethical behaviour as people become far more judgmental over who they trade with. And they want to trade with someone who's not going to turn out to be fraudulent, badly behaved, malpractices are going on in their factories. Because it goes on social media, and before everyone knows it, it's out there for everyone to see, and your brand takes a hammering. So I think ethics, for a commercial reason as well as for behavioural, has been never more important.